100 sub. I'd love 100 subs. That would be great.
So would I.
Alright. Nobody go anywhere yet.
You say that like I wasn't already.
Oh, you're wide ranging?
Yeah, this is my wide range set.
Nice.
It's my turn to be the support character.
It's my turn to drink the Pepsi. All right, that's not the dog jump button. That's just the me jump button.
Oh, 100 subs on YouTube. Yeah, I had 100 on YouTube, and it felt pretty great.
I have no idea how many YouTube subs I have because I don't use it much. It's just my. It used to be TF2 goofy things. Then it was Overwatch, play the games, and now I just kind of throw up my VODs for my streams there, just for people to look at later.
I know Bacchus has tons of YouTube subs, but that's because he puts up quality Tetris shitposting content.
Ah, yes.
Like, I may sound sarcastic when I say that, but quality shitposting in Tetris is a gem. Because in order for Tetris humor to be good, it has to be intelligent. And in order to be, like... And the balancing act of making intelligent Tetris humor that's also stupid, glorious.
Sir? Sir.
Sir, please, this is a Denny's. You can't be eating your Grand Slam in public like that. This is a Denny's. You have to chew, sir. Sir! Sorry, I just had this mental image of T-Rex, just, you know. Just like shoving his face into the plate into the Grand Slam like it's, you know, a bowl of dog food. And just shoving it all up. Sir! Sir! This is a Denny's! I don't know why that mental image came into my head, but that's what happened there.
Okay, so... I respect those who like the Grand Slam, but... I'm a Lumberjack Slam kind of boy myself.
Hell yeah.
I've actually not been to a Denny's like, in years. So I do not even remember what they have on their menu.
Oh, hey Diablos, how's it going?
There's also an Anjanath. We passed that I high-fived him as we walked by past each other.
It's time for walkies. Oh, hi Sage, when'd you get in here? Good to see you.
Perhaps you should consume one pizza.
Okay. We have a quicksand trap for the Tigrex over here.
We had a quicksand trap.
It was an interesting concept. I'd not seen that before. Oh, we have a very dazed Tigrex now.
Alright, he has a full clip of exhaust ammo at full charge in his face. He didn't.
Wow, it's so weird seeing Hammy's character say thanks for the help.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you're usually the one who's healing.
I know, I'm just...
I know, I'm just...
being purposely obtuse.
Yeah.
My favorite kind of triangle.
Sage has never had Denny's. Denny's is an interesting concept. It's not like the king of, like, general breakfast food or whatnot. And Denny's is also like the
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
franchise I
that's
know
right.
of
Yeah.
where like the difference between a good Denny's and a bad Denny's is so ridiculously huge. Like they joked about it in Family Guy about having two Denny's so that they could have the good Denny's and the bad Denny's. But the difference is astronomical.
It really is.
Like a bad Denny's will sour the entire experience for you, and you'll think there's no such thing as a good Denny's. Like you'll just be like, bad Denny's, man, I should have just stayed home and made frickin' toast. But a good Denny's, you'll feel like you should have paid more for the food than you did.
Compare that to say, a good example is I decided to go to a Taco Bell because I've not been to a Taco Bell in a little bit. So I'm like, well, there are any Taco Bells near me, and like, not only did I look at them, I'm not sure if it's a good or bad thing of, let me check the reviews on this particular Taco Bell.
Ah, you were smart.
Well, but like, I saw all these complaints, but I ended up like, there was one that was like 15 minutes away that had very solid reviews. And this one just kind of had middling reviews with, a couple people like, oh, my food was terrible, blah, 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 but, question is, was it actually bad or were they Karening? They didn't get their food immediately or whatever. And I didn't want to go all the way out the 50 minutes away because this was when my power went out. Remember I mentioned that time my power went out for like the middle of the evening?
Yeah, I hear you.
So I was like, I just want to go get something while I wait for my power to come back on. And so I go to this, this Taco Bell that has like middling to low reviews, and it's like, it tastes like Taco Bell. I feel like that's kind of for fast food. That just seems like how it usually is for me. Like the McDonald's and the Wendy's near me get kind of middling reviews, but they taste like McDonald's and Wendy's.
So there was one Denny's, speaking of good Denny's, because I explained what the bad Denny's was like, but I didn't get a chance to explain what the good Denny's was like.
The good Denny's.
Okay, so there was a good Denny's that I had the first time I lived in New York, just outside of Buffalo, and it was one of the all-night, 24-hour Denny's. And I and my group of friends at the time, we would take board games in there at 2 in the morning. And dependent on which of the two overnight managers it was,
yeah, there you go.
One of them would sit down and play with us.
I was gonna say that sounds like the IHOP near my my old friendly local.
Oh, sleep.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Did the fish wake him up? What was that?
Something woke it up.
I
totally
think
looked
my
at that fish.
slicing ammo might have been too late.
Yeah, because slicing ammo's on a delayed.
Okay.
But anyways, as I was saying, one of them would sit and play with us, and then the other one would just comp our meals because he was like, look, people come in because they see you guys playing board games and think this is a cool place to hang out. You make us money. I could pay for your moons over my hammy. I don't care. And I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you. Would you like to learn how to play the game we're playing? And he's like, nah, it looks a little complicated for me, but do you want a hot chocolate? And the one waiter we always got, just this, like, 18-year-old kid, but he ran his job as if he were at a triple Michelin star restaurant.
Good boy.
He's just like, he comes up with the towel folded over his arm, complimenting us on our choice of game. We'd place order, and he'd be like, ah, excellent, I'll have it right out, friends. And I'm like, you frickin'... Like, there were high-end eateries that kid could have totally been a part of. And then one time, he actually had time to sit down with us and play games, too. And because we changed game, and he was like, I've never seen that one. And I'm like, you got a moment to sit and play? And it just so happened it was one of the nights where, the manager that liked to play with us was there, and he's like, there's nobody here. You've been doing great all night. You want to take an hour and just hang out? It's fine. you're gonna win Employee of the Month anyway, so order something for food and I'll comp it for you. And when asked why he settled for that job instead of like he could have done much better, and we've all complimented him on it multiple times, and he's just like, I have a situation with my parents. As long as I have a job and am going to college and maintaining my grades, I get to live in the garage, which I have repurposed into an entire apartment, rent-free, bills paid, food paid, as long as I keep my grades up and pay for my own, recreation.
Nice.
Parks and recreation?
But yeah, and he was just such a good kid. Damn.
Yeah, no, see, that went differently than I expected. What I was expecting was, you had the one good manager and the one bad manager. But it's not like you had, two good managers.
Yeah.
Because it was like, as I was going to say, there was the IHOP. There's the IHOP that was near my friendly local game store, and sometimes we would, if we stayed up really late, we could just, depending on who was in charge there, sometimes we could go over that IHOP and continue playing Magic. Like, oh, hey, we're not done yet, but the store has to close down for the night, so let's go over this IHOP and finish our game. And sometimes we were able to get to do it, sometimes we didn't, and that depended on, who we got as the manager at that IHOP. Because we had a couple guys like, what are you even doing? No, you can't play those here. It's just like, okay.
Oh, jeez.
Whereas, you see, the thing is that, those type of managers don't have their priorities right. Because the thing is that those of us who are playing games, we're going to order food multiple times. Yeah. If we get into a good run, we are not going to want to leave, and we will probably order more food and drink. And if it's at a late part of the night where if you don't have a full house anyway, it doesn't matter how long we're there.
Nope.
Most of my late night Denny's runs, those were $150, $200 trips, and I didn't care. I didn't care because it was a good time. It was a good time on our schedule. We were treated like esteemed guests. And I told a lot of people about it. And I worked at a video game store when I lived at that town. And I had a little bit of a reputation for, being a good, positive guy that just wanted to bring people together with games. Kind of like how I am now. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, I can't see it. You doing stuff with video games, that's a stretch.
Yeah. I mean, the channel's name is Jason Cooks Food anyway, so...
I mean, I'd watch that too.
I know you would. But yeah, it came to the point where there was that Denny's that I could go to, and then there was a time that I went to an Applebee's near my work, and I was by myself, so I sat at the bar, I got my meal, I got my drink, and then the manager comes by and he's like, "Wait, you're Jason from that game store." "Yeah. Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, sweet, dude. Yeah, no, I can't go to any other game stores because nobody knows what they're talking about." And I'm like, yeah, I feel that feel. So, and then, I kind of blew his mind because, as some people know, I pay attention when people talk. Because that's how people feel special. And I asked the dude, "So, hey, how are you doing on God of War? I know you picked that up recently." Which blew his mind that I remembered. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been having a lot of fun, except I've been stuck on one part." And then he started asking my opinion on, what games that I could recommend that were like it, but might have been sleeper hits. And I had a few titles to give him, because I played a ton of PS2 games at the time. A ton. PS2 is such a good system. But by the time I'm done, he's just like, "Oh, yeah, let me take care of this for you." And I'm like, You don't have to do that. And he's like, "I don't mind. I'm asking you work questions and you're off the clock." And I'm like, "I'm probably just gonna put the money towards tipping your bartender then." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, he deserves it. He's a good kid. He works really hard." And I'm like, Yeah, you know what? I do miss the town of Batavia because, like, almost all of the business owners in Batavia and the managers, franchise or not, they were all fantastic people.
Good.
Like, just genuinely good, respectful people. Especially at that game store I worked at. Oh my god. Every time, like, they weren't afraid to, like, push us. My boss there, she was not afraid to, like, set us up for a bunch of challenges, but then she'd always be, like, so celebratory when we pulled them off. And I remember, like, we had like a kind of rough season one season, just because it was such a bad season for new releases and whatnot. Sales were down a little bit, but like she recognized that it wasn't necessarily our fault, and it was time for like performance review, and she gave me a raise, and she's like, "You are worth far more than I pay you," and I wish sales were up so I could give you a better raise, but please do continue being excellent. Here's an Xbox 360 as a bonus, and I'm like, oh, okay, thank you.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, throughout my couple of years working for that game store, she gave me an Xbox 360, and she gave me a 60-gig PS3. And that's a big deal, because that was the backwards compatible one.
Oh yeah, no, I remember trying. I missed my chance to get one of those because that came out while it was deployed, and the co-op, like the well, no, the place on the post I was deployed to had them in stock.
Oh my god.
And I was like, oh no, I'll just grab this once I'm back stateside.
Oh no.
Rude.
Yeah, no, cause it was the Metal Gear Solid ones that were backwards compatible, and I was just like, oh no, I'll get my deployment check, and then I'll pick that up when I get back stateside, and just
Rip.
But yeah, the crazy part was like, she hands me it was a Christmas bonus that was the PS3, and she's like, here's your Christmas bonus, and she's grinning from ear to ear. So I'm like, oh no, she went big this year. That's the only reason why she's grinning as much as she is. And then I open it up, and I'm like, wait. Because I flipped it over to check the model number. Because that was a big picky thing that I did when taking them in, and I recognized the model number, and I'm like, this is the backwards compatible. And she's like, yep. And I'm like, this is selling on eBay for like $1,500. And she's like, I know. And then I started crying, and I hugged her and thanked her for it.
yeah. We're just
Like,
shoving this tiger. It's like to an entire different zone. It's like, no, you don't get to be in this zone. We're gonna move you over to this one.
We're gonna push you around because we can. If only the rest of corporate America realized how much happier and more productive their workers were when their workers were happy. God, what a novel concept.
Let me get back to my zone, please. Oh, wow, that roar bowled me over. And then he died. And then he died.
Nothing personal.
Yeah, I know it's still a bit of a dream, and it's not a guarantee, but if this streaming thing takes off, which we're pushing for, we're trying, damn it. Like, I want to be the kind of boss that, like, people work hard for because they love the boss, instead of people work hard for because they're afraid of the boss. You get so much more loyal and productive workers when you keep your workers through respect and admiration than through fear.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever had a boss that I feared. I don't think I've had many that I've liked either. It's been very average.
Like there have been like 2 or 3 bosses that I've had that I've just been like the bosses that I really
did not
like
get
are
a
the ones
single
where I will
thing.
come in on my days off.
I didn't get a single thing.
You didn't? Oh my
Not
god.
one.
I am so sorry.